Anger. Do we need anger? Do we need to be angry? It's one of the things that Jehovah's Witnesses are saying, that those people who leave, they're usually super angry, right? And they don't show the fruit of the Spirit. Therefore, they cannot be from God. Because look at them. They're standing on the front of the kingdom halls, or crashing the kingdom halls, or flipping over our carts. I mean, we're being prosecuted by the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. And to be honest, I do not support neither crushing the kingdom halls or the flipping of the cards, or showing any type of anger or violence, especially towards any Jehovah's Witnesses or anybody, as a matter of fact, just because they have a different religion. I do understand, though, why people are angry, because I experienced that anger myself, and anger actually can be very useful. It's actually needed. That's right, it's needed. Why would you say that it's needed? Well, it's needed because when we experience injustice, we need to get angry. Otherwise, we would tolerate injustice for the rest of our life. But the anger gives you this power, this strength, this certainty to move away from something that we know is wrong. And it was not easy to do this for most of us. But we did it. We needed that anger to say, you know what, enough is enough. Imagine this. Imagine that you're married and somebody comes up to you and says, you know what, I think your spouse is not faithful to you. And they'll present why they believe this. And you might be like, shocked. But you're not going to go home, start packing and leave right away, would you? You want to make sure that that story checks out. You want to make sure that it's true. They could, after all, be mistaken. Even if they're genuine, they could be mistaken. So you confront your spouse and say, hey, what's going on? Where have you been on this day? Where have you been on that day? And what did you do? And they're giving you round and round. And they're giving you stories. And then you maybe confront them and says, do you have somebody else? Are you cheating on me? Right? And they're like, absolutely not. They'll deny everything. They'll say, who do you believe? Them or me? I've been truthful to you. I love you. I care about you. Look at how many things I have for you. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? You think out there it's going to be better? You think you're going to be able to take care of yourself? And look how many things you're going to lose. You're going to lose the children. You're going to lose a house. You're going to lose all the certainty and safety that this family provides. People will hate you. You're going to have to find another job. There's so many things. Why? Where are you going to go? I'm not perfect, but stay. And unfortunately, many people do stay in relationships where they suffer. They suffer. They just don't see a way out. And the person that they're in relationship with, because of their nature, a lot of times narcissistic nature, they will manipulate the person into believing things and cutting off the person who are trying to warn them. That's right. They're going to say, why do you believe them? They are trying to destroy our relationship. Look at their relationship. Is their relationship better? They are divorced themselves, and twice already. And what did they replace it with? And they would use those tactics to make the other person feel so guilty, just even for talking about this. But the truth will not leave them alone. That's the problem. If the spouse actually cheated and actually was not faithful and continues to be unfaithful, then sooner or later, you're going to be like, you know what? It's too much. Enough is enough. I have enough evidence. You can deny all you want. I see enough evidence. You are not faithful. I'm done. I'm over this. I'm grabbing myself. I'm leaving. I don't care how much I'm going to lose, but I'm done. I'm not staying here. And you get angry. You feel injustice. You feel like somebody that you love and care about lied to you and betrayed you and cheated on you. That's horrible. It's not easy to overcome. And it's very similar when it comes to Jehovah's Witnesses. You wake up from this beautiful relationship that you're thinking you have with the organization, with people in there, with the best united world of Jehovah's Witnesses, with the great hope of paradise. And you wake up to this and you're like, man, I can't believe that so many things, they've been wrong and they've been dishonest and they keep changing things. And it's not easy to acknowledge this, to admit, and even harder to leave, because you know the moment you leave, there's so many losses you're going to have to take. There's your family, there's the loved ones, maybe your job, if you're working with Jehovah's Witnesses, your identity, who you are as a person, it all has to be rebuilt. That's why we're angry, because of the enormous amount of injustice. But believe me, if you are in a relationship and then you find out that your spouse is cheating on you, and then you find out it wasn't only with one person, but there's two, and then you find out there's three, it hurts more and more. But at the same time, as soon as you find out there's three, chances are there were seven. Okay? There's a moment when you just don't want to know anymore. You're convinced that person is not faithful to you. You don't want to be in a relationship with that person, and it's over. And you can spend the rest of your life trying to figure it out, how many times they lied to you, and how many times they cheated on you, and how many more women or men, whatever it was in that case, how many times they cheated on you with somebody else, and it just doesn't make sense. Once you're convinced that relationship is over because they were not faithful to you, and they're lying and cheating, and they're denying everything, once you know you don't want to be there anymore, there is no need to waste any more of your life, of your time, of your precious time, to try to dig out the past. You just close that book. You realize, you know what? There were some good times. I loved that person. They loved me, and we had some great times. There were some times when I was not perfect. I hurt them. They hurt me. Now it's over. Time to move on. Time to move. Even if you don't find somebody else, you'd rather be by yourself, authentically living in a single life, than living with somebody who is not faithful to you, who's not honest to you. Now, the same thing with Jehovah's Witnesses. You're like, you know what, I can't do this. Maybe you stayed as a PIMO, as a physically and mentally out. I did, right? Because I thought, hey, why go through all the hassle? There's not every Catholic that goes to church, believes everything. They don't agree with all the doctrines. I can just go. I don't have to be an elder. I don't have to go door to door. I can just show up on Sunday. I don't even have to answer at any of the meetings. I can just be there. And guess what? If I'm not disfellowshipped and I show up at Sunday meeting, there are people who are like that. And they will be able to, still talk to me, and I'll still keep my family, my friends, and everything else. Why cause all the hustle? So I stayed for a while. But my stomach was turning every time I heard something that I disagree with. I'm like, oh my gosh, how can they teach this? How come I didn't see this before? It was getting me even more angry. I couldn't do it. I'm like, I can't live and pretend that I believe something, pretending that I'm representing something. If it's not true, I have to be authentic. Otherwise, I'm suffering. And if I'm suffering, I see my family suffering. Everybody was suffering. It's spread. So there's a moment when you just simply know enough. You know the origins. You know where the Bible was changed and twisted. You know where they're dishonest about the doctrines. You know where they manipulated money or people, or like all those things. You put it all together. And you came to the conclusion, enough is enough. I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore. This relationship is over. And from that day, what you have to focus on is yourself. That's right, yourself. And we have this habit because of the pattern that was installed in us that we have to wake up everybody, right? Because we were going door to door, for crying out loud, with a magazine that said "Awake" on it. And we were knocking on the door and saying, please, read this. Armageddon is coming. We have to wake you up in order for you to be saved. Otherwise, you're going to die at Armageddon. That was basically the message, even though we didn't verbalize it that way. But that's what it meant to us. And now, when we left Jehovah's Witnesses, we sometimes have the same urge of going to all the Jehovah's Witnesses saying, wake up, please, family, friends, look what you're doing, look where the problems are, look where the discrepancies are, where it's lies in a lot of times. And it's not happening. As a matter of fact, they're cutting you off. They're blaming you. They're gaslighting you. Right? Blaming the victim. And it's hard to watch. It's very unjust, and this is why I experienced that anger. But we need that anger to know and have that certainty that this was a mistake and we don't want to be there anymore. And now we got to focus on ourselves to rebuild our life. Well, how do you rebuild your life? Well, you start with looking at many aspects of your life that are not working. There are a whole bunch of things that you can sit for the rest of your life and cry. Oh, you know what? I just spent 10, 15 years in Bethel, and I was just mowing the grass and picking the weeds, and I didn't educate myself. I don't have any school. I don't have any money. I don't have any savings. I don't have any trade. What am I going to do? I don't even have an apartment to live in. And they just told me to move out. What am I going to do? I'm starting with nothing, and I'm 40 years old. It's hard. I'm not saying it's easy, but sitting and blaming them for the rest of your life will not help you. You know what? If your finances are in poor shape, guess what? Pick up a book on finances. Don't pick up a book about what Jehovah's Witnesses are doing wrong, because I know you study those quite often. And instead of wasting hours on end listening where Jehovah's Witnesses messed up, okay, with all the YouTube videos, watch YouTube videos about success. Watch YouTube videos about finances. Watch YouTube videos about investments. How people who were in a really poor situation, people who came from another country, they can't speak the language, they don't have social insurance number, they cannot work legally, and they pull it off. And within 5-10 years, they become millionaires. How did they do it? How? Find out. Read those stories. Get inspired by people who turn it around. People who maybe were very rich and then became really poor. They went bankrupt. And they pulled it off later on. How? What do they know that you don't? What skills do they have? What knowledge do they have? Find that out. Don't waste any more life trying to figure it out what Jehovah's Witnesses did wrong if you're not working on yourself anymore. I hear this so many times. People are saying, if I were not a Jehovah's Witness, I would be an engineer, I would be a lawyer, I'll be a doctor, I'll be whatever. Right? There's so many opportunities I could have had. Well, first of all, are you doing it now? Are you studying to be a lawyer or a doctor or engineer or an architect? If you're not doing it now, then truthfully, maybe that was not your calling. And I very much doubt that every single person that you know became an engineer and lawyer and so on just because they were not witnesses. Right? Chances are you would have become what most of your friends became in the environment that you were raised. But think about it. You got to become a student of whatever it is that you're lacking right now. If you're lacking friends because you lost all the friends in Jehovah's Witnesses, guess what? Pick up a book about friendships. Pick up a book of how to become friends, how to talk to anybody. Great book. How to talk to anybody. How to gain friends. There's so many books out there, so many YouTube videos, so many instructional seminars and stuff that you can spend your time now. Instead of going to the meetings 3 times a week, and going door to door, you have a lot of time that as a Jehovah's Witness you were spending on a religion. Now replace this time with putting that effort to make yourself a better person, better skills, better communicator. Improve the quality of your life. Why do I say this? Is because I want you to be selfish? No, the opposite. I want you to be successful, because the more successful you become, the more people you can help, the more you can contribute, the more you can make the quality of life better for you and for others. If you don't become an example, okay, then you cannot help anybody. It's like you become a hypocrite. If you're poor and you don't have $1 to your name, how can you go and tell your kids, how they can be successful? There's not a chance. They'll never believe in what you're saying. They might say, oh yeah, yes, Dad, I'll do this. And they'll never follow your example. You have to show by example. You have to. If you don't set a good example, nobody will listen to any of advice that you give them, no matter how good the advice is. Imagine you're fat like this. You can barely fit in a seat, and then you're trying to teach people about nutrition. Nobody will listen to you. I don't care how good advice it is. Even if you're dead on and it's perfect advice, nobody will listen to you. You have to show as an example. That's what leadership is all about. Leaders walk first. And you have to focus on yourself first. See what you're lacking. Become a student of the success that you want to achieve, instead of constantly looking at what JWs do wrong. That will not get you. That's just like resentment is like drinking poison, hoping somebody else will die. Enough. You got to sit and say, enough is enough. I have to shape my life the way I want to shape my life. Guess what? There will be a moment where you're going to wake up and you're going to say, I'm actually very proud of myself. I'm proud of my life. I'm proud of the fact that I woke up from the religion. I'm proud what I did with my life. I'm proud of all the achievements. I'm proud of what I did when it comes to emotional fitness. And I got the strength now that I could never have if I didn't put the work. And that moment, somebody else gonna knock on your door. Somebody else gonna contact you, maybe through social media, and they're gonna cry their eyes out, saying, I just lost everyone. I just lost my father, my mother, my sister, my brother, my children, whatever. And I don't know what to do because I'm being shunned and everything I believed in is gone. And I don't know. I think I'm going to kill myself. And you're going to feel their pain and you're going to understand their pain. But at the same time, you're going to say, you know what? I understand it, but there is hope. There is a better life. And you're going to be able to say it with certainty in your voice because you lived that life. You went through that pain. You know what it takes. You know what it was, but you know what it takes to get where you are right now. And you can say, don't worry. You had a physical family and you lost them. I get it. You had a spiritual family who were brothers and sisters, people who were simply baptized in the same religion as you do. That doesn't mean they're brothers and sisters to you, because where are they today? But you can have a chosen family. Chosen family are people who behave like family. People who love you for who you are, not for what you believe in. And it's much better love than you ever experienced before. And you never met all the people that are about to love you yet. I mean, you're going to have that certainty in you because you did that work. But you can't sit and cry about all the stuff that happened. There is a time to let go of that anger and overcome that anger. And with your life, with your strength, you'll be able to help and contribute to others. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.